Hello, everyone. This is Independent Conservative. Thank you all for joining me. I want to share something that's very disturbing, okay? And it's in reference to at least 15 separate incidents where liberals have become unhinged due to Donald Trump's victory. Now, this should come, his election victory, of course. Now, this should come to no surprise to a lot of us, okay? You should come to as no surprise. But what I'm going to read to you guys is pretty shocking, okay? It's pretty shocking and really out there because it begs the question, why are these group of liberals overreacting to Trump's victory? Now, let me say something. Let me just say something here. It's a disclaimer. This is not an attack against liberals in general, even though I don't support a lot of the things that they believe in. Most liberals are fair people. You can live with them. They're not going to act crazy and want to commit acts of violence and literally delete or, and I'm going to be, changing my words up here to keep getting it from this video from getting taken down. You know how YouTube is. But most of them I'm not willing to take you out or commit acts of violence against you because of your political beliefs or your ideologies. Most of them, you can live with them. But in these particular incidences that I'm about to read to you guys from this article, this is insane. And I shared these incidents with a coworker at my job about a week ago about some of these people, these liberals, overreacting to Donald Trump's victory and overreacting to the extent that they were willing to literally commit acts of violence against others, okay, or even take out, okay, those other individuals that voted for Trump. And you know what I mean by taking out, okay? You know what I mean by that, okay? So we're going to get right into this because I believe, in my opinion, that I think I know what the reasoning is behind this. I think I know what the reason is behind this. This Trump derangement syndrome, they call it that. It's like, well, it's Trump derangement syndrome. It's a disease which I at one point thought was a mockery. That was a joke, but come find out it's an actual disease. It's an actual mental disorder, rather. But the question is, why? How is this a mental disorder? How is this affecting some liberals and not all the liberals? What's going on here? Let's get into this. The reaction to Trump's huge victory were many and varied on the left, and while most liberals merely cried in their beer and moved on, some reacted in the worst way possible by lashing out with deletes in their heats. That's weird. I think they mean in their heads. So that was a misspelling there. One woman, a so-called power lesbian. What is that? I don't know what that is. Please define what a power lesbian is to me. I don't know what that is. But this is what this article is saying here. One woman, a so-called power lesbian named Corey Burke, 33, may have committed the worst of acts by allowing Trump's election to drive her to allegedly delete her father with an ice axe. And this is what I shared with one of my coworkers. And he's like, yeah, I heard about that. Now, let me point this out. This is allegedly, okay? Now, but allegedly means simply that maybe her motive may have been based on Trump's victory and the fact that her father supported Trump, and that her, deleting of her father was allegedly based on that idea. Okay, so this is what she's being, allegedly accused of. There's no proof to say that she actually took him out because of that reasoning, okay? But it's clearly she took him out. Clearly she took him out, but we don't know for sure. It's just alleged that she did so because of the fact that her father was a Trump supporter. In my opinion, I think she did it because he's a Trump supporter. But we're gonna get into that because that's just how far that goes. But anyway. Burke, an employee of Jeff Bezos' aerospace company, Blue Origin, allegedly, stabbed and strangled her father, took him out after the election. She reportedly left her father, 67-year-old Timothy Burke, dead in the $800,000 Seattle home the two shared, according to the Daily Mail. Wow, that's pretty messed up, man. The paper added that Burke allegedly told police that her rage was connected to the election. There's the key. The paper added that Burke allegedly told police, so they're just reporting this, okay? Told police that her rage was connected to the election. Me personally, I believe it was true. Burke was not the only Democrat voter to apparently turn to murder. Ooh, I didn't share it. It is what it is, y'all. After the election. Another case of such a tremendously foul deed reportedly took place in Minnesota, where Anthony Nephew, 46, allegedly took his entire family out. Then, wow, that's crazy. Then reportedly committed, took his life several days after the 2024 elections. The unstable left-winger had posted a number of attacks on Donald Trump during the 2024 campaign for president, according to the New York Post. And this is very, very shocking. That's one of the reasons why I don't share a lot of my political beliefs with certain people, because I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how they're going to react. I really don't. I don't know how they were going to react. And it isn't just to protect myself, okay, from something that they might do, but it's also to keep me from opening up a bag of opening up, doing something myself where I would have to live with it for the rest of my life. Because one thing about it, you're not going to attack me because of my political beliefs. You're not going to be putting your hands on me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to defend myself, and that's all I'm going to say right there. You need to know that. When I ain't the one. I'm not going to do it. You got a problem and you need help, and you ain't going to be taking me out. Satan, you a lying wonder. But anyway, let me go on. Nephew, a resident of Duluth, allegedly took out his ex-partner, Aaron Abrasom, 47, their son, Jacob, 15, on November 7th. But the bloodletting was not over yet. Police say he also went on to take out his wife, Catherine, 45, and their son, Oliver, 7. He had then turned the gun on himself, officials said. This is just absolutely insane. Quote, my mental health and the world can no longer peacefully coexist. And a lot of the reason is religion, he explained in one post, and in others, he reportedly attacked Donald Trump. Now, accordingly, this is something has to do with religion, but I don't know how that. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. What do you mean by religion? I don't get it. Unbelievable. It's just really sad. Really sad. There are other acts of violence. Let me read some of this other stuff. It says some liberals also resorted to violence short of murder. An elderly white woman. And then this is the part, and this is something that I shared too with one of my coworkers. I shared this with him as well. An elderly white woman in Edmond, Washington, was arrested and charged with a hate crime after she allegedly physically assaulted several minority voters who were wearing Trump shirts and hats, according to ABC News. And I actually saw that news clip. I actually saw that woman, and they showed it. She literally hit this black woman. I mean, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I'm saying to myself, the nerve of this woman to physically attack a black person, physically attack her. Where was the mainstream? Why wasn't that all over the MSNBC? Why wasn't that all over CNN? If it had been the reverse, they'd have been all over the place. If it had been a black conservative doing something like that, or white, it would have been all over the place. But let it be someone liberal. This is what I suspect. Let it be a liberal person doing it that's white and physically attacking a black person that's conservative or at least supporting Trump. And out of sight, out of mind. You see how the mainstream liberal does? But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. 32-year-old suspect reportedly pushed a black Trump supporter and punched an Hispanic woman who said she was a Trump voter. The two women claimed that the white Harris voter called them both racist, which is interesting, right? And told them that they should be ashamed of themselves for voting for Trump. Another case of violence occurred the day before the election in Bath, New York, where a man named Robert Yacht was arrested and charged for allegedly physically assaulting another man for wearing a Donald Trump Make America Great cap. Yeah, that's been happening since 2020, Finally, while there is no evidence that any violence came of it, liberal women on social media were seeing suggesting that the election of Donald Trump was an excellent time to return to the use of an ancient poison to murder men. And I did a video on this. I think I did. I don't know if it was a 1 minute video or I think it was a regular YouTube video. Yeah, I did a video actually. Videos began popping up on social media urging women to resort to a 17th century poison called aqua tofina, a mixture of lead, arsenic, and belladonna, whatever that is, to kill men according to legal insurrection. Wow. And then I'm gonna read a little bit more here because you need to know. You need to hear this for yourself. You need to hear it for yourself. Stories of several left-wing teachers taking their frustrations over Trump's massive win out on their students also cropped up after Election Day. And I shared these incidences with my co-worker. It says, in one instance, a hate-filled high school Spanish teacher in California reportedly went nuclear on her students for daring to wear Donald Trump's T-shirts in class. A lot of these people just don't know how. That's one of the reasons why I don't wear that stuff. I don't wear Make America Great hats. I don't wear shirts with Trump on it. It isn't because I'm afraid necessarily. It's because I don't want to be putting myself in a situation where I'm going to be in danger because I don't know what crackle is going to do something crazy. They might just take me out from a long way. I don't know. People are just so nuts out here over your support of a political leader, but we're going to get into that they would be willing to do something physical to you to hurt you. And like I said, I don't want to put myself in a position where I have to defend myself because I'm not a person that believes in violence. I'm an ordained minister. I don't support initiating acts of violence, but I do support defending myself. But I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to do that and then have to live with the fact that I clipped you because you wanted to mess. You was upset with me wearing a Make America Great hat and a shirt. Anyway, the teacher took to social media and accused her students of exhibiting, quote, a, quote, deep hatred of minorities, women, non-Christian religion, LGBTQ plus, and any of my opinions are a hate crime when worn at school, the Daily Mail reported. I mean, this teacher is clearly deranged, clearly unhinged in the most extreme way to act this way in a school. Have this teacher even thought about how this may affect the students? Clearly they haven't. Then there is the case of Annie Dunleavy, a teacher at Chapman School in Connecticut, who reportedly threatened to take out Trump supporters. In one segment of her video, she appeared to say, quote, please don't test your gangster. Yeah, that's the one I read. Please don't test your gangster on me because you will end up on a stretcher. Gone forever. So serious. So clearly, if this is what this teacher said, clearly this teacher meant what they were saying because it says so serious. So they're to take this teacher seriously. This teacher is basically saying, I'm going to actually do this. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Nobody effing talking to me unless you want to swing. No, nobody effing talk to me unless you want to swing. In other words, let's get it on. Don't talk to me if you supporting Trump, whatever. Don't talk to me unless we're going to swing. Unless we're going to fight. Then it goes on, if you want to fight, text me, call me, whatever. Anybody else, stay the F out of my face, end quote. Spared what this person said. Sicko. Dunleavy later went on TV, local TV, to cry about being targeted, but admitted that her message of threatening Trump supporters, quote, came off wrong. Man, get the heck out of here. Came off wrong. It didn't come off wrong. That's clearly what you meant. That's clearly what this teacher meant. It came off wrong. It's interesting to me how these deranged people make these threats to other people, and then when other people say, you know what, it's a problem with that, and they come in all they want to say, oh no, it came off the wrong way. Oh, really? You just said so serious. You meant what you said by the word you used. So if you're making those kind of threats to people, some people are just not gonna. They ain't feeling that. Okay, they're gonna say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They're gonna come after you. They're gonna say something about it. And all of a sudden she says it came off wrong. Get the heck out of here. These people are delusional, man. I'm telling you, they delusional. Anyway, another teacher, this time in Arizona. Here we go with these teachers. These are the people that's in our schools, y'all. Not all of them, but when you start seeing stuff like this, we got a problem. Another teacher, this time in Arizona, found that his mental distraction over the election also got him in a heap of trouble. These people need to be fired. Teacher Clyde J. Calanso, whatever his crazy name is, who works at Chino Valley School District, recently launched into an alleged unhinged rant after a student entering his classroom wearing a Trump hat. Calanso is also the school's girls golf coach. School choice advocate Corey A. DeAngelis released the audio from the incident, and I don't have that. I think this is what it says. Well, I'm just going to read it to you. It says, a child, MOLESTER, huh? Vote for that freaking RAPIST. I have a daughter, 3 nieces, and he RAP them. And people are voting for him. Christians are voting for him. Bunch of losers, fake Christians. Sickos, man. Sickos. These people have, in each of these cases, the school district involved said they are, quote, investigating the incidents. I'm just going to read a little bit more here because this gets into the even more serious situation. We have doctors doing this. Stories of doctors having reactions to Trump's election abound too. One story out of Iowa revealed Dr. Mayanki Sharma, 35, a pediatric cardiology fellow for the University of Iowa Healthcare, who in the wake of the election took to his social media to tell friends to, quote, stay mad, end quote, at Trump voters, and added that he hopes that conservative parents have their children MURDERED, according to the Daily Mail. Can you imagine that? If this is what this man actually spits, allegedly, this is what this person said in social media. And yet the government, FBI, has more conservatives and Christians on their terrorist list than anybody else. Really? What about these nutbags that I'm just reading to you here? Let's go on. Another report found that liberal psychiatrists, therapists, counselors, and social workers were seen on an industry message board that they should withhold their mental health services from anyone who voted for Trump. So much of their Hippocratic oath. Well, first of all, these liberal psychiatrists, therapists, and counselors and social workers that are talking about, if this is factual, talking about withholding mental health services from anyone who voted for Trump. Well, first of all, you need to use your own mental health services on yourself because you're the one that has the mental health issues. What they need to be doing is talking to these crazy people out here, these unhinged people making threats and deleting their loved ones because they voted for Trump. Them the ones they need to be dealing with. Forget about the conservatives. Probably most of these conservatives out here and Trump supporters probably are sane in their right mind. Okay, because most of them, not all, are Christians and godly people anyway. Well, I won't say most. I would say some of them, especially those that are Christian. They're not unhinged like this, so they ain't going to need your services. But anyway, yeah. Let's read more. I'm just going to read one more. Liberals and Democrats also perpetrated a range of other examples of unhinged behavior in the wake of Donald Trump and his massive popular vote and electoral college win. As Breitbart News reported last week, liberal women admitted to stockpiling abortion pills in the mistaken belief that President-elect Donald Trump would have the power to ban the drugs. Wow. In other cases, which is just totally ludicrous, absolutely untrue, absolutely false, okay? In other cases, liberal men schedule vasectomies to avoid having children Woo! To avoid having children during the second Trump era. In other cases, leftist women shave their heads bald in protest against Trump and to fight the patriarchy, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, many other lefty women claim to have launched a sex strike over Trump's win, though it is not exactly clear who that is supposed to hurt. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna read right there. Yeah, that's just. I know there was more than. Oh wow, way more than I normally read. But I want you guys to hear that for yourself, because that's absolutely insane and it's crazy and it's coming from the radical left. It's coming from the left, right? Okay. Now, as I said earlier, I'm not picking on people on the left per se, because most liberals may react in disappointment over Trump's win, but they're going about their life. In fact, I would say a decent number of people that I deal with on my job and so forth, a lot of them are liberals. Now, I believe there's some conservatives, but they're what I call secret conservatives. They're not going to come out and say they're conservative and voted for Trump. They don't want that. They don't want to deal with the nonsense. Okay, like I just read, I don't want to deal with that foolishness. But most people, I can tell they're liberal, or at least centrist in the middle. Okay, just by the way they talk and by the way they look and by the way they act. Okay. And they're going with their life. It's okay, whatever, nothing I can do about it, what I'll do. So most of them are not unhinged. But here's my opinion of why I think a lot of these people are unhinged like this. Now, they say this is Trump derangement syndrome, and it's actually a mental illness that is in a psychiatry book now, whatever. Okay, but the question is, what causes that? Now, in my opinion, I think this is what causes, in part, this Trump derangement syndrome. Number one, I think is spiritual, which means I think these people are opening themselves up to demonic spirits, but I can't prove that. So I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to try to give you something a little bit more solid in terms of something that you can connect it to, that you can see. I think that most liberals in this country, even though in America, in this country, even though they may watch CNN, MSNBC, and ABC and CBS, they probably don't watch it a lot. They watch enough to where they really are convinced that Trump is a danger to society and he's the next Hitler and all of this other stuff. But they're not willing to commit acts of violence or something like that, or delete someone they love because they supported Trump. They're not willing to go that far. But I think there are others who bathe themselves in CNN, bathe themselves in MSNBC, bathe themselves in, and what I mean by bathe themselves is these people constantly are listening to radical far left news sites, reading radical far left news sites, media sources, and they're constantly bathing themselves in this rhetoric. And it is causing their brain to just go whoosh and crack. These are the liberals who excessively watch CNN, excessively watch MSNBC, excessively read liberal far left articles and so forth. They do, in my opinion, they do this excessively to the point where they have basically brainwashed themselves. They have brainwashed themselves, and somehow this self-induced brainwashing has affected their mind. It has affected the neurons in their brain. And you know, the neurons are the brain cells that receive information and give information. But when all your neurons are receiving is negative input about a particular person or group of people, and that's all your neurons are receiving, what do you think your neurons are going to give? If the neurons, which are the brain cells in your head, okay, brain cells in your, the brain cells are constantly receiving this negative input, what do you think is going to give out? If the neurons receive information and give information, and they're always receiving this negative information, then what do you think, what kind of information it's going to give out? It's going to give out diluted, unhinged information. And that's, in my opinion, what's going on. These are, people are unhinged and to the point where they're willing to delete people that they love, willing to make horrible threats to other people, because they're the group of liberals that spend all their time, I wouldn't say all the time, but a vast majority of their time sitting in front of CNN, sitting in front of MSNBC, reading these far left radical articles and brainwashing themselves, brainwashing their own minds to believe this to the point where they are willing to do horrible acts or at least make horrible threats to other people. That's in my opinion. These are the people that really need to stop watching mainstream media. They do. And I blame mainstream media once again for this kind of nonsense. These far left radical news sources like MSNBC and CNN, who have become so far left and no longer play fair, that they have become delusional. They need to be taken off of the air. They need to be taken off. Let these, and I'm not talking about, I want these people to be unemployed, walking the street, because clearly they can find another job. But those places need to be taken off of air and rebranded, like Greg Foreman said. A black conservative perspective, they need to be taken out. They need to be fired and start all over again. Because this kind of stuff is messing people up. It's messing them up. And people need to know what this is doing. People need to know what the mainstream media is doing. Leftist, liberal mainstream media is doing. They need to know that, because they take the blunt for that. They take the blame. I blame them for that. I blame the mainstream media, the liberal far left mainstream media. I blame them for these people's crazy, unhinged acts. That's what I had to say about it. So that's my opinion on it. But this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. But you're going to continue to see crazy stuff like this. It's probably going to increase if these people don't get a hold of themselves, and if news sources like MSNBC and CNN and others stay on air. This is what you're going to continue to get, this kind of stuff. But that's my words on it. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all. See you again.